This is my story. Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I promise you stories like this are too good to miss. I wasn't always the person people saw at the charity gala, all smiles and grace. In fact, there was a time in my life when I felt invisible, overlooked, and underestimated. My story started in a small town where everyone knew your name and your business. I dreamed of a life beyond that, a life filled with purpose and excitement. But to do that, I needed to leave, which meant leaving behind everything and everyone I knew and loved. When I arrived in the city, I was a wide-eyed young woman with aspirations and a suitcase full of dreams. Finding my place in the bustling metropolis seemed like deciphering a cryptic code. I navigated the concrete jungle, yearning to make a mark but unsure of how. It was during one of my job interviews that I first encountered Vincent. His piercing gaze and commanding presence left an indelible impression on me. There was something about his aura that hinted at a life well lived, a man who had seen his share of triumphs and tribulations. As our conversation progressed, I discovered that Vincent wasn't just successful in business, he was also a devoted family man and a respected figure in the community. He exuded a charm that was disarming, and he made me feel at ease despite the high stakes of the interview. To my delight, I was offered the position, and soon I found myself immersed in the fast-paced world of high finance. The office was a microcosm of society, a melting pot of ambition, competition, and camaraderie. I was excited to be part of this dynamic environment. In the coming months, I learned the intricacies of my role and became a trusted member of Vincent's team. He often praised my work ethic and keen eye for detail, which filled me with a sense of pride and motivated me to excel. Outside of work, I began to explore the city, immersing myself in its cultural richness. I attended art exhibitions, theater performances, and concerts, each experience expanding my horizons. I also reconnected with old friends and made new ones who shared my passion for life and learning. Then, unexpectedly, Vincent invited me to join him and his friends for a dinner party. It was an intimate gathering, a mix of established businessmen and promising young professionals. As the evening progressed, I found myself engaged in lively discussions about art, culture, and current affairs. I was surprised by how comfortable I felt in this sophisticated setting. It was as if Vincent's presence created a bubble of warmth and camaraderie that put me at ease. However, amid this whirlwind of activity, I couldn't shake off a nagging feeling of unease. There were subtle signs in Vincent's behavior that I couldn't quite decipher. For example, he would abruptly end our calls or cancel our meetings without offering clear explanations. It was as if there was a wall between us, a barrier that prevented me from fully understanding him. Despite these puzzle pieces, I continued to invest my time and energy into my career and personal growth. I thrived in my professional life, earning recognition for my abilities and making valuable connections. In my personal life, I nurtured my friendships and remained open to new experiences. One day, however, the facade I had been maintaining began to crumble. I received a phone call that changed everything. It was from Vincent's wife, Isabella. Her voice trembled with pain as she told me that Vincent and I had been spotted together at a local bistro. She demanded answers, her tone leaving no room for deceit. Caught off guard and deeply disturbed, I ended the call abruptly, my mind racing with thoughts and questions. That evening, I confronted Vincent seeking clarity. However, instead of providing answers, he accused me of causing this rift in his marriage. He claimed that Isabella was overreacting and that there was nothing to be concerned about. But his words rang hollow, failing to quell the turmoil within me. I began to question my place in this intricate web of relationships and the boundaries I should be respecting. As the days passed, the tension between Vincent, Isabella, and me reached a boiling point. The once vibrant tapestry of my life began to unravel, threatening to pull me into its abyss. Forced to confront the consequences of my actions, I realized that the path ahead held difficult decisions that would shape my future in ways I could never have imagined. And I wondered, why did I let myself fall for him when I knew he was taken? Why did I allow myself to be blinded by his charm and status? And most importantly, how could I repair the damage that had been done? With a heavy heart and a resolute spirit, I knew I had to act. I reached out to Isabella, hoping to mend the fractured relationship. I apologized profusely for the pain I had caused and expressed my willingness to rectify the situation. To my surprise, Isabella agreed to meet me for coffee. In that small cafe, we talked for hours. Isabella, it turned out, was aware of Vincent's infidelity and had been trying to hold their marriage together for the sake of their children. We discussed Vincent's behavior, his lies, and his manipulative tactics, and I realized that I was not the only woman he had deceived. Determined to make amends, I offered to help Isabella through this difficult time, promising her support and understanding. As the weeks went by, a peculiar shift occurred within Vincent's inner circle. Those who once seemed like staunch allies began distancing themselves from him, engaging in hushed conversations and exchanging wary glances. Whispers of his questionable activities started circulating, casting shadows of doubt on his reputation. One evening, a colleague approached me, his eyes filled with concern. He revealed that Vincent had been involved in several unethical business practices, jeopardizing the company's integrity and financial stability. Shocked and dismayed, I grappled with the realization that I had been unknowingly entangled in a web of deceit and moral compromise. I questioned everything I had learned and experienced under Vincent's mentorship, wondering how much of it was tainted by his flawed judgment and questionable ethics. Torn between my loyalty to the company and my own principles, I knew I had to take action. With a heavy heart, I decided to expose Vincent's wrongdoings to the higher management. It was a difficult decision, fraught with uncertainty and potential consequences. But I felt compelled to do the right thing, even if it meant risking my own position within the company. As news of Vincent's misconduct spread, the wheels of change began to turn. The company initiated a thorough investigation, and within weeks, Vincent was removed from his position. His colleagues and friends, once staunch supporters, now viewed him with suspicion and disdain. The sudden downfall of such a prominent figure sent shockwaves through the organization, exposing the hidden cracks in its foundation. In the aftermath of Vincent's departure, I found myself at a crossroads. While I had exposed his wrongdoings and upheld my own integrity, I had also severed ties with the man I had once admired and respected. I missed our intellectual sparring matches, our shared laughter, and the sense of camaraderie we had built over the years. It was a bittersweet victory, one that left me questioning the complexities of loyalty, trust, and the elusive nature of truth. And it made me wonder, how many other lives had Vincent touched in similar ways? How many others had fallen victim to his charm only to be discarded when he deemed them no longer useful? Perhaps there were many, and perhaps that was his nature. Or maybe it was a defense mechanism, a shield to protect himself from the vulnerability he couldn't bear. Yet, amidst the turmoil, I discovered a newfound strength within myself. I realized that I had the courage to stand up for what is right, even when faced with adversity and betrayal. And while the scars of the past may never fully heal, they serve as a reminder of my resilience and the importance of staying true to my values. In the end, I emerged from that chapter of my life wiser and more cautious. The experiences, both positive and negative, had shaped me into the person I was meant to be, ready to embrace new challenges and opportunities with a clearer vision and a stronger resolve. Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoyed this emotional roller coaster, don't forget to hit that like button. Your support means everything to me. And if you want more stories like this, please subscribe. I have a ton of stories waiting for you, so go ahead and tap on that subscribe button. I can't wait to bring you more tales of love, loss, and triumph. Until next time, keep living, keep loving, and keep believing in the power of stories.